So, William Shakespeare was born here, 1564. What really surprises me about this man is that, well, here we have this master of English literature. And yes, his upbringing was what we would consider quite middle class. And in fact, he never went to college, didn't go to Cambridge or Oxford. So, William Shakespeare was just a small-town boy who made good.
One of the biggest complaints I've heard about Shakespeare is that he, quote, doesn't speak our language. But a trip to his wife's family home tells us that we take more from his era than we think. It's Anne Hathaway's cottage. So William Shakespeare would have come here to woo her.
Right.
It's quite a nice house.
It's a very nice house, actually.
John Colton is the guide who's showing me the cottage.
It's amazing how much we take from this period.
Yes.
I mean, you walk into a home like this and you think,
Yes.
well, this is so very different from
Yes.
what we're used to.
And yet there's
And
a
yet
lot
not.
of things that we actually carry over into the 21st century.
Like a wooden dinner plate on which you'd be served a square meal. Like a kitchen floor that would be covered with threshings of rushes and the threshold that would keep them in the kitchen. And upstairs,
It's a beautiful bed.
We forget that in the past, beds had such a huge importance. They could cost as much as a small house.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it was luxury to have a bed at all?
Absolutely. It's like somebody buying that wonderful luxury Porsche car that you accidentally leave on the drive so your neighbours can see. When they would come into your parlour and actually see your bed, they could adjust and, oh, they're doing very nicely, thank you.
And I read somewhere that our term raining cats and dogs.
Yes, thatch
They'd find
roofs
themselves
are
in
wonderful homes for mice, for birds, birds' nests. If the roof leaked, things would often fall down. So in fact, that's indeed, it could be, you know, raining cats and dogs.
So
this
that
is an
canopy
expression that we can, it would protect that. Because
cat falling down on your lap.
it would actually seal off the dust and the vermin and the debris that might fall on the occupants inside. The Hathaways lived here for something like 14 generations from the 16th century to the end of the 19th century. So visitors can see a continuity of one family with things from the 16th century through to the 19th century.
You can't come to Stratford-upon-Avon without visiting the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. The company here has been performing Willie's works for over 125 years. So basically, if these guys can't help you understand and enjoy Shakespeare, nobody can.
the world-renowned Royal Shakespeare Company has its home base in Stratford-upon-Avon. There are two beautiful theaters located on this river, the famous RSC Theatre and the newer playhouse, the Swan. Naturally, the actors get the lion's share of the glory, but these plays couldn't come to life without a well-tuned army of artists and technicians behind the scenes. There are guided tours for visitors, and I'm being treated to a special visit inside the costume workshop.
What are you doing? Is this dyeing or is this just making dirty?
This is just making dirty.
And it's to give the look of it's been worn for a while?
Yeah, he's been camping for about 4 weeks, living rough in the forest, so he's going to be quite grubby by the time they're finished.
What other tools do you use?
Becky's using a cheese grater at the moment, and she's balding the velvet on that jacket.
You use a cheese grater?
Yeah, it's like painting in 3D, really.
Yeah.
So you think about the character and what they've been through, and then you just kind of work on the costume. So
It was a beautiful shirt.
We have, look, Cowpat as well, which is in the same show. We've got...
What's cowpat?
Cow poo.
It's cow poo?
Yeah, so we have to do... Obviously, we have to make pretend cow poo, because the actors would probably revolt.
So this is fake cow poo?
Yeah, so
Can I
it's
open
like,
it?
yeah, do you have a look?
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
It's a secret recipe. We can't tell you what's in it.
Is it really? It's your own, though. Oh, that's lovely. I smell a tinge of nutmeg.
Oh, right.
So this is what a theater looked like back in Shakespeare's time. It is amazing how close the audience is, kind of intimidating as well. Everyone from wealthy aristocrats to poor commoners would come to, as they would say, hear a play. They wouldn't come to see it, they were here to hear it. Another thing that's going to surprise you is that Shakespeare never intended his plays to be read. He wrote them to be performed and enjoyed. It's his version of popular entertainment, very much like how we enjoy movies today. So you come to Stratford-upon-Avon when you want to see how Shakespeare lived. You come to the theater when you want to see how Shakespeare lives. Stratford-upon-Avon is one of England's most popular destinations. Most people coming here are just visiting for the day, so there aren't a lot of hotels here. What you will find are small hotels, inns, and B&Bs. Now, I'm staying at one of the largest hotels here, and I think you'll recognize the name. We've seen his home. We've seen his wife's home. We have seen the theater he inspired. Yes, I am staying at the Shakespeare. This is one of the most popular hotels here in this town. One, because of its location. I mean, we're really in the center of it all, and also its style and atmosphere. I mean, just look around. It's hard to resist not staying in one of the original buildings of this town, this Tudor-style architecture. Parts of this building date back to 1637. So this is my room, and it's small, but it just oozes character, doesn't it? I love having this exposed timber frame and these tall, exaggerated headboards. It's all old and Englishy, but it's not like dank or musty, because sometimes I look at rooms like this on TV and it's like, oh, does that smell? But it doesn't. It's very nice and fresh. Love it.
The hotel offers more modern-looking but equally comfortable rooms. As Shakespeare himself almost said, there are such stuff as dreams are made on. Last orders is the British term for the final drinks of the day, and I had an early pint with Stratford residents Katie and Nicola. They gave me the lowdown on this very tourist-heavy town.
What you do find in Stratford is that when the theatres open, I mean, you've got sort of, I think it's about 2,500 seats. So you can find that you can be heaving with people, and then it'll come around 7, they've gone. Everyone's gone. And it's just...
So is that when you know to go out to the pubs?
Yeah,
7:01, let's go!
With time to go, everyone's gone.
And this pub, the Dirty Duck, is specifically known as sort of an actor's hangout.
Yeah. I mean, if you go inside, you'll see there's sort of signed pictures of all the actors that have been at the theatres over the years, all over the walls. And
the interior probably hasn't changed for many years. I think everybody in Stratford really loves the interior and wouldn't like it to change, and it's very typically English.
And what do you find special about Stratford?
The main thing is we're absolutely spoilt for restaurants here because of the visitors.
You can have Indian
lots of
food,
nationalities, Thai restaurants, Chinese,
there's loads
as
of
well as
things.
English, French. So it's really wonderful for eating out. So a typical night out would be coming for a drink at a pub like the Dirty Duck, and then going to one of the many wonderful restaurants that we've got here in Stratford, and then hurrying your dessert in time for last orders and sending out somebody to the pub first of all before 11 o'clock to buy as many beers as possible for you to drink in literally 15 minutes flat before the pub closes and you're thrown out.
A runner, go!
And basically everyone just staggers home and then goes to sleep and then wakes up the next day and all starts again.
Well, I can't think of a better reason to come to Stratford-upon-Avon. Who needs Shakespeare? Just go to the pub.